The inspiration behind our coffee shop is our two youngest children, Biddy and Bo, who both have Down syndrome.
80% of people with disabilities do not have jobs. We knew we had to do something about it. Then all of a sudden we were creating jobs for people in the community.
COVID hit and we pivoted hard. We had to think about how can we still make our customers feel a part of this joyful place. Salesforce Customer 360 really mimics what we do here in the coffee shop. When a customer walks in, they want to have that human connection. Why would that be any different when we're doing business online?
To have everything in one place as far as what are our customers asking for, what questions do they have, and doing it even faster, it's incredible.
We've grown and we've just rolled out franchise opportunities.
We're Biddy and Bo's Coffee.
And our business runs on Salesforce Customer 360.
Wow, what an amazing story to kick things off today. And a huge thank you to everyone on the line who's joining us for this virtual gathering of Pardot and marketing automation professionals and our first ever ParDreamin. I'm Andrea Terrell, CEO of Sercante and the founder of the Spot for Pardot. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to ParDreamin 2020. I'm going to try to avoid marketing buzzwords like the new normal, things look a little different this year, and that kind of copy that we've all probably had to put into our email marketing at one point or another. But it's going to be hard because these are unprecedented times. There is a new normal. Things are undeniably different this year. Can you imagine traveling back 365 days to warn your past self what was coming, or heading back to Dreamforce 2019, talking to people at the Moscone Center and telling them what 2020 would bring? Today's contrast with last year's reality is unbelievable. But in equal measure to the jarring and weird parts of 2020, we've also been surrounded by new opportunities and an abundance of silver linings. Take this conference, for example. For Dreamforce last year, many of us had to beg for budget, make a business case on why we should attend, fly across the world, and then spend a full week tromping around the hills of San Francisco, catching colds, coming home tired each night with blisters on our feet, completely exhausted. And it was worth it, and we loved it because it was one of the only ways that we could find our Pardot and Salesforce peers and connect with people who do what we do day in and day out. I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss travel and the live conference experience, but in some ways what we have here and what we're doing today is even better. Today for ParDreamin, we have over 3,400 people on the line representing 62 countries. We've been able to expand access to this content massively and ensure that Pardashians from all over the world can be a part of this experience. We're going to hear from 58 speakers from all walks of life on how they've leveraged Pardot in their organizations to grow their business and keep up with the changing world around them. This is the virtual place where we as Pardot pros can find our people. We're about to dive into our opening keynote. But first, I'd like to say thank you to everyone on the Sercante team for pulling this event together. Also, thank you to our amazing sponsors who have helped bring this from an idea to reality, and to the amazing community who's rallied behind this event in such an incredible way. I also want to thank you personally for showing up, making time in your busy schedule, some at crazy hours of the day based on time zones, but making this a priority to join us for ParDreamin 2020. A few quick tips to help you make the most of your experience. The Keynote tab highlights 6 events, including panel discussions, a fireside chat, and the product roadmap that you won't want to miss. On the Sessions tab, we have 41 presentations for you to check out. Most time slots, we have 3 sessions available on different topics, so there should be a little something for everyone. And the question that we always get is it going to be recorded? Yes, it definitely is. We're going to be recording this content and sharing it after the fact so that you guys can take advantage of any of the sessions that you weren't able to attend. On the Lounges tab, we have some topic-based open networking rooms. So things like account-based marketing, campaign ROI, opportunities to meet people who are struggling with similar challenges. And then on the Sponsors tab, you can see the MarTech minds who helped make this event possible. If you click on their logos, you can view product videos, product information, visit their website, or book a meeting to learn more about the product. And then finally, the People tab is a great spot to reach out and make one-to-one connections so that you can carry this discussion and collaboration forward after the main event. If you're on social media, Please spread the word about ParDreamin 2020 using our hashtag. There will be swag and prizes for those who help spread the word. And if you're on Twitter, we're playing a really fun game called Where's ParDragon? Again, I'm so excited that you guys are all here with us today. It's going to be a great content and connection-packed week. And without further ado, I'm thrilled to introduce our keynote, Marketers Leading Through Change. This session is led by Mike Kostow from Salesforce. Mike, thanks for being here.
Andrea, can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes, coming through loud and clear.
That's half the battle. That's victory right there. We've gotten Zoom to work. It's good to see you. Thank you for having me and letting me participate in the ParDreamin event. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have you here.
I also want to say just congratulations. One, on just the success of Sir Conte. You guys have been an amazing partner for Salesforce and Pardot. I talk to our customers all the time, and they're so excited about the great work that you do for them. So on behalf of the Pardot team, I want to say thank you. And wow, this event, ParDreamin, 3,400 people registered. That is incredible. So congratulations to you and to the extended Pardot community for your participation. It is really great to see, especially in light of a year where we couldn't go anywhere, that we can still find ways to connect and do it virtually. And this event that you've put on here is a great example of that. So congrats.
Fun fact, Mike, our stretch goal for attendance when we originally were cooking this up was 500 people. That was like our top of the top that we were aiming for. So it's been amazing.
Well, I think next year we need to aim higher. If we can get 3,400 during a pandemic, next year, 10,000 easy.
Challenge accepted. We're on it.
Well, great. Well, I'm excited to share some stories from some incredible Trailblazers today. And I'm going to speak about how Salesforce and our customers are leading through change. But first, I want to start by saying thank you. As Andrea said, usually this time of year where this group comes together in San Francisco for Dreamforce, we're all able to learn from each other, to share our product innovation, to use this opportunity to have a lot of fun. And obviously we're not able to do that this year, but what that has done for me is made me even more grateful for the incredible community that surrounds Pardot. So on behalf of the Salesforce team and of the Pardot team, I want to say thank you to everyone who has come together to participate here. And I want to say thank you for all that you're doing for our customers. It should come as no surprise to all of you that we're in a health crisis, that we're in an economic crisis, that we're in a racial crisis. And for us at Salesforce, it is a very good time for us to lean on our values. Our values really guide us, and as a company, they're at the root of everything that we do. And those values are trust, customer success, innovation, and equality. And what we've tried to do over the course of this pandemic and through this challenging year is to really live those values. So if you think about trust, which is our number one value, we want to have trust with all of our stakeholders, our customers, our partners, the communities in which we live. And one of the things that we've done is to source hundreds of millions of dollars worth of PPE. And we knew, especially as we got into early in the pandemic, that PPE was difficult to find, and healthcare organizations all over the world were struggling to get that personal protective equipment for their patients and for the doctors and nurses. And that's one of the things that Salesforce did, is to go out, source that PPE, and get it to the places where it was needed most. When it comes to customer success, we realize, especially through this new distributed work from anywhere world, that it's incredibly important that all of our customers have access to our product. And so we really doubled down on the reliability of our platform. And in a lot of cases, we've been giving free product out to those who are most in need so that they could find ways to keep their business going, to find ways to connect with customers, and to ensure the success of their customers. And then I think all of you know innovation is really at the core of Salesforce. And this pandemic has challenged us, like anyone else, to really rethink our product strategy. And one of the things that we came out with over the course of the last couple of quarters is a new offering around work.com. We realized that our customers needed to find ways to bring their employees back to work and to do it safely. They needed to find a way to do contact tracing, especially government entities. And now they need a way to safely distribute all these new vaccines which are coming online. And so for us, it forced us to really rethink and pivot our product strategy and come to market with new products. And last, but certainly not least, is equality. We realized that this pandemic has really impacted a lot of the small businesses in our community. And one of the things that Salesforce has done over the last couple of months is put together a set of grants to help small businesses like Biddy and Bo's, who you just saw in that video, to help them keep the lights on, to help them find new ways to connect with their customers, whether it's a retail shop who wants to go and do curbside. Salesforce is giving out grants and also free product, to help these companies to survive and thrive through the pandemic. And these values, again, have really guided us at Salesforce as we have led through this very, very challenging year. We also believe that the changes that you're seeing now in this new distributed work from anywhere world are not temporary. And we believe very strongly that a lot of the changes you're seeing now are going to survive well past the pandemic when we go back to work. And we use this framework to think about and help guide our customers through the challenges that we've seen over the course of this year. At first, it was really around stabilization, right? How do we get all of our employees back home with a functioning internet connection? How do we all, stabilize in our lives, find ways to educate our children, take care of our parents? And at Salesforce, we helped our customers by giving away free product, making sure that our platform was up and running and available for all of them to use. I feel like all of us are now past this stabilization phase. The second phase for us has been really reopening, and that's getting employees back to work. And we've delivered product with work.com that helps our customers get their employees back to work and to do it safely. And it depends on, what part of the world you're in or what industry you're in as to whether or not this is relevant. Like I'm in California now and we're back in a stay-at-home order. So we're certainly not going back to work quite yet, but we know at some point this is going to be relevant for us and we're going to need a platform to help us do that. And then for a lot of companies, it's about getting back to growth, right? And it's about getting back to growth in this new world, which is really working from anywhere. It's highly distributed. And it's even more important now than ever that you have a customer 360 view of your customer and a single source of truth. And you need that in order to deliver a unique and differentiated customer experience. And so this framework has really helped to guide us and also guide our customers as we've navigated through the last year. And I know we've got, watching here today, a whole bunch of amazing marketers. And we have certainly seen the role of the marketer evolve over the course of this past year. We're not unique in that we're not working from home. We've got to find ways to connect with our customers. We've got to find ways to create that great experience. But our role really, as I've talked to marketers over the course of this year, has really changed, right? And before it was, especially as a B2B marketer, you're thinking, how do I connect with my sales team to drive revenue, to build pipeline? Now it's really around the B2B marketer owning the customer experience. And that really requires a marketer to work well beyond sales, to really think across the entire organization, because you as a B2B marketer or a marketer in general are really on the front lines of creating a unique customer experience. And so that's why an event like this is so incredible, because you get to hear from your peers, you get to learn from experts, and think about how you can use technology like Pardot and like Salesforce to help you evolve in your roles and in your careers. But I also recognize that not everyone is there yet, right? And if you think about, different organizations that I talk to every week, you've got really great marketing teams who are doing really innovative stuff. Same with sales organizations, same with service organizations. But what they're doing is they're innovating within their respective function. And so what you end up seeing is a really great MarTech stack, a really great sales tech stack, a really great service tech stack. And that's great. And that certainly can help you to grow the business. But really the power comes from how all these things come together. And if you're just innovating within one of these respective functions, then you're going to have data in multiple places. You're going to have, a set of processes which are different across all these different functions. And if you do, it's very, very difficult for you to be able to create a unique customer experience. And so we really are guiding our customers and helping them through digital transformation to think about how they can evolve together, right? How they can bring all of these things together, have a single platform to do sales, marketing, and service to create those unique experiences. And that's why you heard Biddy and Bose and all of our customers talk about the Salesforce Customer 360. What this year has brought us is an acceleration of digital transformation. And our customers who had intended to do this over a course of multiple years are now doing a digital transformation in the course of a few months. And Salesforce is uniquely positioned to help our customers do that by having a single platform and giving our customers a single source of truth on their customers. And if you go to the next slide, for you as marketers, you also have to evolve and shift your roles as we work through this pandemic. And as I said before, our roles have really changed. And to be a successful marketer in this new age really requires us to leverage the technology that is available today. How are you leveraging AI to deliver unique personalization? How are you bringing all your data together in a single place across sales and service and marketing to create that unique experience? And we all know, as marketers through an economically challenging time, that there's a lot of scrutiny on our budget. And so analytics becomes even more important as you think about how you measure the effectiveness of your marketing, how you find those places where you're seeing a positive return, and how you double down on those. And so over the course of this event in the next couple of days, you're going to learn from some great marketers who are going to share their stories and how they're leveraging technology in order to do that. But what I'd like to do next is welcome a couple of great marketers who have done exactly what you see here and have leveraged the technology to really drive their businesses through a very, very challenging time. And so with that, I'm going to welcome to the virtual stage Carrie Pena from buildOn and Gail Moody-Bird from Noodle AI. Carrie and Gail, can you hear me?
We can.
Can you hear me?
Oh, victory. Again, we're 2 for 2 with Zoom. This is really wonderful.
Okay, off to a good start.
Off to a good start. So first of all, I just want to say a huge thank you for joining us today, especially so early in the morning on West Coast time. I know you are both super busy, and I appreciate on behalf of Salesforce and Sir Conte, you taking the time to spend with us today. So thank you.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And maybe we could just start with some quick introductions. I mentioned Noodle AI and buildOn, but I think it'd be great to hear about the company and the organization. Gail, maybe you go first, and then we go to Carrie.
Okay. Hi, my name is Gail Moody-Bird. Happy to be here. I'm Chief Marketing Officer of Noodle AI. Noodle AI has been a Salesforce customer for about 3 years now. And we sell artificial intelligence to manufacturing and supply chain companies. And when you think about it, what we're really selling is decision intelligence for the toughest, most non-intuitive decisions that operators have to make, be they operators in a manufacturing plant or demand planners with a CPG company. It's what do I need to make a decision about, and how can I accumulate all this information, run it through algorithms, and make the best, most informed decision. So that's Noodle in a nutshell. We'll talk much more about it, but
that's great. I feel like I've heard the term supply chain a few times this year, so maybe we'll come back to that in a minute. It seems like something that is very important. Thank you, Gail. Carrie, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Carrie Pena. I'm the Chief Experience Officer of buildOn. buildOn is a nonprofit organization. We've been around 30 years. In 2021, it'll be our 30th anniversary. Our mission is to break the cycle of poverty, illiteracy, and low expectations through service and education. And we do that by running service learning programs in some of our most under-resourced schools here in the United States, and then mobilizing rural communities across the globe to build schools.
It's an amazing organization. In fact, there's some of my peers and colleagues at Salesforce who have been very active participants in buildOn. It's an incredible organization.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
thank you for joining us.
Tremendous supporter, so thank you for that.
So Gail, let's go to you first. Obviously, we've had a challenging year, and there's been certainly a lot going on, as I talked about before, with multiple crises at the same time. I feel like you guys have been at the forefront of what's happening based on the fact that your software serves the supply chain. Do you want to talk through, for the audience here, some of the challenges that you and the business have faced and how you've been able to lead through that?
Sure. Yes, a big part of our business is running supply chains. And so the challenge of keeping supply chains running during the pandemic was what 2020 was all about for us. We serve people in food, beverage, health, hygiene, and personal care. So imagine these are all the goods that people really need to keep as they're hunkering down in their homes. And what we
So you're
found,
getting toilet paper to people's houses is what's going on.
yes, essentially,
Okay, just to
yes,
summarize
making
that.
sure that they're on the shelves. And so what we found is that the customers that we had found the products, the traditional products without AI that they were using were failing because the complexity was so starkly different than what they'd experienced before. So for each of our customers, we really doubled down and said, what can we do with the algorithms that we've created for you, with the products that you're using, and incorporate new information like mobility information or consumption patterns in Asia Pacific that would inform Europe or that would inform the US. So a lot of really war rooms were created with all of our customers using our technology to help solve the problems that they'd never confronted before. Another thing, in terms of thinking about the customers, there really was this crisis within their organizations that the planners, who were the ones who keep the supply chains running, were really overworked. They were suddenly working remotely. The war rooms had become virtual. And so there was a lot of planner exhaustion. And so we did our work with a lot of empathy. We did a lot of work to make sure that the tools we were using were easy to use, that our people were available and right there in those virtual war rooms with them to keep essential products running. And we did that with quite a bit of success. And I think this year probably earned us a lot of customer loyalty.
Yeah, it's amazing. I remember reading about the business in the Wall Street Journal.
Yes.
The supply chain obviously is top of mind for pretty much everyone in the world right now. So congrats to you on that.
Thank you.
Carrie, I'd like to shift to you. So when the planes stopped flying and the trains stopped going and we were all started to work from home, what impact did that have on a nonprofit organization like buildOn, and how did you lead through it?
Yeah, so I mean, the impact of COVID was huge on us because everything we do is so human centered. It's in the field. I mean, we organize youth, so teenagers all across the US, to serve their communities. So they're going into food pantries, directly serving people. They're going into senior homes, spending time with senior citizens. They're going into schools, tutoring young children. All of that stopped. When we build schools, it's through a community participatory model, which means that we mobilize hundreds of people to contribute volunteer labor to physically build the schools in places like, rural Malawi, Nepal, Haiti. And so all of that stopped, right? And so we were like, how do we continue our mission in this world where everything now has to happen online? So we had to immediately pivot to figuring out how do we do socially distant and virtual service. Immediately turning all of our staff into support for our students, helping them bridge that digital divide by getting them tablets and Wi-Fi when needed, and then organizing service projects that can be done remotely, like calling seniors over the phone to keep them engaged. Or we launched a campaign for the entire buildOn community really early in the pandemic called Make Masks Save Lives, where we physically sent kits to make masks for people in need to all of our students, and we're able to make 86,000 masks with our community, which was really awesome. And then we shifted our global building model, where now we're building schools with only 10 people on the site, socially distant. So it was a huge shift for us.
That's like a 180.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talk to me a bit more about the marketing aspect of it. Obviously, as a nonprofit, you had to shift your messaging through the pandemic. I'm curious, what you've done and what's worked well, and potentially even what hasn't worked and what you learned from.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think one of our biggest things is because so much of our work happens in person. So much of our customer experience is also in person. We bring our donors directly to the schools. We bring our directors directly to our donors directly to the communities where we build schools. And so we had to really use our marketing channels and, and Pardot through email to deliver content and deliver real-time impact and make that real. So for instance, the Make Masks Save Lives campaign, we were able to organize all of our donors to get them to sign up for kits and then funnel those to community-based organizations. We typically have people in the field with us building schools. And so instead we had to shift to like a content strategy to deliver what we called enhanced ground breaks. So it was like an email stream that delivered videos of like, what does a ground break look like? We're talking to the people in the field. So as the work is happening, people still feel like they're part of it. They still are seeing things happen in real time. And it's not like they're getting some final like PDF report at the end. We had to shift all of our virtual events digital, right? So we had to think about like, how do we look at how to get the most important people in the virtual room, right? And then how do we deliver a journey for them after?
That's great. Gail, I want to go to you next. Really the same question, and how did you, and you talked about this when you spoke before about, marketing with empathy. I'm curious how you shifted your messaging and how you've marketed over the course of the last couple of quarters.
Sure. Well, one of the things that was important to us was to communicate what we were learning, not only to our customers, but to our prospects. So we run email campaigns regularly to our list of prospects in supply chain and CPG. And we were sending information like, what do we think the shape of the recovery is? Or later in the year, the emails became, how do you prepare a resilient supply chain for 2021? So it was time sensitive, but it was also role based. We knew that line of business leaders were thinking about how to keep supply chains running, but the CFOs were thinking about the financial impacts of volatility. And then the CIOs just wanted to build resilient IT infrastructures. And so a lot of role-based marketing as well as time sensitive. And Pardot really allowed us to stage campaigns and to manage communication as people were responding, so we could get them to the right individuals on the sales team to help walk them through the customer journey.
That's great. And so just one quick follow-up there. I know account-based marketing was core to your strategy this year and potentially prior. Can you speak to like how that played out, how you've been doing ABM, how that's worked for you, and what you can share with the audience here that would be helpful?
It was interesting earlier on, you talked about silos in organizations. Our experience has been that we work arm in arm with the sales team. Actually, business development for Noodle is part of the marketing team because they're on the front lines and driving a lot of our messaging. So there is no silo for us. We're on Sales Cloud. We have Pardot. The information is seamless. So everything that we know about our prospects and about customers who we're working to cross-sell and upsell is all in one system. So not only how are they responding to email campaigns, but what parts of our content are they consuming? And that information is allowing the salespeople to have really continuous informed conversations about the behavior that we're seeing. So the seamlessness of the information has been critical for us.
That's great. And Carrie, I think you had mentioned this in my last question, but curious for you to just expand on how Salesforce and Pardot have helped you to make this significant pivot that you've made this year, to serve, your stakeholders.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I also want to echo the comment about the silos, because I think for us, our development department and marketing team were working in silos, and we launched Pardot this year. And as we have continued to roll it out and, implement the process for more and more campaigns, I see our teams coming together. And so like a perfect example of this is like, we've just launched our holiday campaign. Q4 giving is like the most important time for a nonprofit. And we've been able to use Pardot and with the addition of wealth mapping, right? To look at who are our prospects, to grade and score them, to like look exactly at who's opening the email and what actions are they taking. And for instance, like, Giving Tuesday just happened, and we quadrupled the amount of donations that came in Giving Tuesday through our email campaign, which was excellent.
Wow.
One particular gift that we saw come in, we could see directly through Pardot that they clicked on the email, saw our gap to goal for that day, and donated exactly that amount, which was like $18,707. And so,
wow,
implementing this year has just been a real game changer for us. And I expect it to really even accelerate our work in 2021.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
We need more 18,000 per person donors, that's for sure.
I'll take it.
Do you want to speak quickly also while I have you here, just about I was interested in this food insecurity program that you guys are leading. Maybe just for everyone who's listening today, can you expand on that a little?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things we learned through that Make Mass Save Lives project is that our community wants to unite around service. And so every quarter we're launching a new service project. We call it the One buildOn Service Project. And this quarter it's called Feeding Communities, Not Stigma. It's really focused on addressing food insecurity. I think as everybody here knows, 1 in 8 families is food insecure in the US right now. In New York, 25% of children are food insecure. And so through this project, you can go on to our website, sign up to put together a shelf-stable, protein-rich meal kit for families. And then BuildOn students are creating recipe books using the ingredients in the food kit so that they can be delivered to families, and they can, we can help get people who need it food in this tough time.
That's really incredible. And we're going to come back to that in a second as we close out here. Gail, I just have one last question for you. I know one of your missions is a world without waste. Do you want to talk a bit about how you see that playing out over the course of the next couple of years?
Yes. If you go to the homepage of Noodle's website, you'll see that our not so secret plan is to create a world without waste. And so while we're doing all of these great algorithms to create financial benefits to our businesses, what we're doing in the background is we're helping them become more efficient. We call it radically efficient. And so everything from reducing overproduction of products that results in obsolescence to making sure the products are in the right place at the right time so that they're not expediting product. Lots of money is spent flying tubes of lipstick around. You'd be very surprised. So getting ahead of that and making sure that they can anticipate needs as opposed to having to expedite, all of that reduces CO2 emissions for all of these companies. And we've got an algorithm that actually calculates the savings and the CO2 reductions for all of our customers that we're really proud of. That's great.
So we're gonna close out this session. I just want to say thank you, Carrie, to you and to Gail. This is exactly the type of stories that represent this entire Leading Through Change initiative, and the stories of resilience, the stories of digital transformation, and also the personal stories that you shared today, I think will resonate incredibly well with the thousands of people that are joining. And I'm guessing that you're going to get a lot of follow-up questions of people who want to hear how, Gail, you're executing on account-based marketing.
Bring them on.
And Carrie, how you've been able to just thrive as a nonprofit through a very challenging time. So congrats to you both, congrats to your organizations, and thank you for spending the time with us today.
Thank you.
Before we go, I do want to go back to the slides real quick. And I want to put out a call to action to everyone who is joining today. I think you heard how incredible the buildOn organization is, and we're asking everyone who is joining us today to give $5. And if we all give $5, everyone who's listening online today, that is enough to build a school. And we will match every person's donation who participates in that today. So thank you very much. We're super excited to partner with you, BuildOn, again. And I hope everyone in the audience today was as inspired by the story as we are and is willing to donate. So thank you.
Thank
And
you.
with that, I'm going to welcome Andrea back to the stage, or the virtual stage. And thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Gail, again for joining us today. Andrea, back to you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate you sharing your stories. Both amazing examples of adapting in a really difficult time, and things that I know the audience appreciates and has learned from. I'm seeing some comments in the chat to that effect for sure. So just kind of to wrap things up here, this is a busy week, jam-packed with amazing content and awesome networking opportunities. So a couple that I'd like to call out just to make sure that you don't miss them. The Pardot product roadmap, that will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. I said earlier in the session that every presentation will be recorded. This is the one exception to that rule. So because it's lots of forward-looking statements and talking about the future of Pardot and where the product is going, this is the one session that will not be recorded. So make sure to block time on your calendar for that one. DreamTX sessions all next week. One that we wanted to highlight was aligning marketing and sales to grow account relationships. That's scheduled for December 14th. And then last item I wanted to highlight, so the Circonte team, there's 34 of us across the US, UK, and Canada. And we're growing like crazy. So we have 5 job postings up on our site. So if anybody's looking for their next opportunity in the ecosystem, I'd invite you to check those out. So that's what we have for you today with our opening keynote, and look forward to seeing you guys in sessions later today, and for our panel this afternoon on how marketers are, the role that marketers are playing in digital transformation. So thank you all.